A dog's head. So they were playing basketball over a dog's head. Want to play basket dog? Hello everyone, welcome to Silent Hill 1. It took a long time to hook this up so we could play this game. I've wanted to play this game for a long time, and I figured now that I finished fully with Silent Hill 2 remake, and I'm also in the middle of a Silent Hill 3 playthrough, it would be the perfect time we play the original Silent Hill before we jump into Origins. So we're going to start a brand new save file, because if you choose continue with the New Game Plus, you actually miss out on the whole intro section with Harry completely. It just skips right to when he wakes up from the nightmare. So we're going to start a new file. We're going to up the brightness level because this is a very dark game, and so you want to be able to see what's actually going on the screen. I think 5 should be enough. We don't want it too bright, or else it's just going to look washed out. And one thing we're also going to do is we're going to switch the screen setting to full screen. I'm playing on the PS3, obviously. That's the only way you can really play this game nowadays. So let's get right to it. And we're gonna play on normal because this game actually gets quite hard in the latter stages, so we don't want to jump into hard right away. I haven't played this game in probably maybe 5 years. I don't even remember, so we're gonna go with normal for now. Yeah, unfortunately this game is not available on the PS4 or PS5. There's Harry waking up from his car crash. And someone's missing. I wanted to record the whole beautiful intro with one of my favorite theme songs ever, but I've heard that song gets the shit copyrighted out of it, and it's 2 minutes long. So I've also heard that many YouTubers pretty much click out of a video if nothing's happening within like the first 10 seconds, so not a good idea to show the whole intro. Cheryl, where could you be? It's strange. It's quiet. Too quiet. This place is like a ghost town. Boy, you have no idea, Harry. Cheryl. Yeah, it really is a beautiful intro. Some of my favorite intro scenes ever, but like I said, the song gets horribly copyrighted. And just for the record, this is snow. It is not ash like in the Silent Hill 1 movie. I know a lot of people get that misconception. They think it's ash falling onto the street. No, this is snow. The reason it was ash over there is because that was a completely different storyline. So it's snow, not ash. Footsteps. A little girl in the snow.
Cheryl? Is that Cheryl?
I don't think that's Cheryl.
Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop!
So one thing you'll notice with the voices in this game is that there is a bit of a delayed pause between each line of dialogue. For the longest time, a lot of people thought that it was the fault of the voice actors or like the voice recording crew, I guess, like the voice director. They didn't, since this was the beginning of voice acting way back in the day, they didn't really know how to get it down perfectly. But it turns out that it's actually a technical issue. For some reason, there's a literal delay in between the way the lines process on the disc for the PS1, so it is an actual technical error. The lines should sound much closer than they actually are to each other, so it wasn't the fault of the voice actors, even though there are some spotty lines here and there. But the voice acting is generally much better than Resident Evil 1, and even quite a few lines in Resident Evil 2. But the thing is, it is an actual technical error that causes the lines to be spaced out like that. So it's not the fault of the voice director or the voice actors. It's actually a literal technical glitch within the PS1 disc. So now you know. Because a lot of people say they have to improve the voice acting for this if they ever do a remake, but it's actually not that bad. Like if it had worked the way it was supposed to, the way they intended it, it would have sounded a lot better. But even so, it's still not bad. So I should go a bit into how I first got into this game. I saw the very first image for this game on the back of the PS1 manual for Metal Gear Solid 1. I remember getting that game. I got that game when I was how old was I? I think I was 14 or 13. Probably 14. Yeah, because I remember this had already come out by then, but I got Metal Gear Solid 1 and I saw that concept art or promotional art, whatever you want to call it, on the back of the manual for MGS1 that said "Welcome to Hell," and it featured this pretty intriguing female character. I didn't really know who she was obviously back then, but it just had her on the back of the manual and it just said Silent Hill Welcome to Hell, and that really intrigued me. And I was a fan of Resident Evil 1 and 2 at that point, and so I started getting more into horror games, and I heard that this was actually a really scary one, so I went down and I actually got it from, I believe it was Funkoland back then. It wasn't even, GameStop didn't even exist back then. It was Funkoland, EB Games, Game Gallery. A lot of game stores were still around back then, but Funkoland was the primary one, and that was the main one where I got my games, because EB Games was too expensive. As expensive as Funkoland was, with used Super NES games and Sega Genesis games, their PlayStation games were actually pretty decently priced. You could get quite a bargain if you traded in some of your old games and got new ones. That's how I actually got Resident Evil 2, the original one. I traded in, I believe it was Final Doom that I traded in, because Final Doom was okay, but I'm not much of a first-person shooter fan, so I traded that in and got Resident Evil 2. I don't remember whether I traded anything in for this or whether I just bought it outright with allowance money. What is it? And I remember immediately being let down because it looks so rough compared to Resident Evil. You can see the graphics are not great. You know, compared to Resident Evil and then Metal Gear Solid, which I was very impressed by. It's not great. It's kind of more along the lines of like Siphon Filter, maybe a little better looking than Siphon Filter, but I remember being let down on how grossly undetailed everything looks. But I had no idea this would become one of my favorite games ever. What started to get my attention is obviously this little section coming up right here. There's those Dutch angles used by many a movie. This they have to keep if they do a remake. I actually prefer the over-the-shoulder view for modern horror games, but I do agree that they have to keep at least this one section intact, just to throw you off if they ever do a remake, which I'd say it's 50-50 on, because a lot of people are asking for it. Konami's probably asking for it, but at the same time, Bloober hasn't expressed any real interest in making it. Their favorite story was Silent Hill 2. That's all they wanted to do. And I guess they might have an interest in Silent Hill 4, considering they put in the Walter Sullivan article there, the newspaper. So 2 and 4 is pretty much their thing, so they might not have an interest in doing 1 or 3. But at the same time, there are rumors that Konami might have a separate team, a separate internal team working on those, so who knows. It's 50-50. But if they ever do actually make a remake, they do have to keep that camera angle. That's strange. It's getting darker. Better than nothing, I guess. That begs the question, is Harry a smoker or not? Because he has a lighter on him. Usually people don't carry lighters unless they're smokers, so... You think that might have contributed to him kind of looking kind of beat up later on in life, once we see him in Silent Hill 3 that he's a smoker? I know that's definitely the reason why Alan Wake can't run more than 5 feet becoming winded. He just... I guess he smoked all his life and he just completely lost all his stamina. Like, Alan Wake has the stamina of an 80-year-old man, even though he's supposed to be like 35 or 40. It's insane. A broken wheelchair. What's this doing here? I was about to say wheelchair. We are not on the Wii, we are on the PS1. It would be cool if we had gotten this game on the Wii, but instead we got Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which is something I'll go into at the very end of this game, because even though it's a completely different story, it does kind of stem from something they do here, so I'll go into that at the very end of the playthrough. This was where the game started to grab me. Because we hadn't seen anything like this in Resident Evil. What's this? It's a funny thing, I was actually going to play Silent Hill 3, and then I started messing around and I tried to connect the component cables from that system onto the PS3, because I heard that was a way you could record through the Elgato capture card using the component cables, and the moment I took out the component cable from the PS2, the connector just completely snapped open and fell apart. Like, I guess it was on his last legs. Boy, was I pissed, because now I had to buy a whole brand new component cable for the PS2, because I have no others. I don't even know what the one for the PS3 is. So yeah, no more Silent Hill 3 for now until I can get that cable, at least 2 or 3 days, because literally the thing just fell apart in my hands. The connector just it fell not even a foot, it fell like 6 inches, and it just completely broke up into pieces. I was like, what the hell? And I tried for like 10 minutes in vain to put it back together, but it's gone. It's non-salvageable, so unfortunately no more Silent Hill 3 until we can get that fixed, so we're gonna focus on Silent Hill 1 for now. This is one of those games that everyone should experience for themselves at some point. But I figure it's been more than 20 years, right? It's sort of, we can, what, 26 years? So we can do a regular Let's Play for this instead of doing a silent playthrough. Because I'm sure there are plenty of just plain silent walkthroughs on YouTube. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to get into the lore. Yeah, so this is already looking pretty nightmarish. Like I said, this was when I started to get into it. Once I realized, okay, this is actually very different from Resident Evil, because it looks like we're journeying into hell. One thing the first movie did do right for this, they copied this sequence almost completely from Rose, so that's one thing I'll give Christoph Gans credit for. And Roger Avery, I suppose, even though he's a bum. This is like something out of Hellraiser.
What is this?
Oh yeah,
What's
look at that
going
corpse
on
strung up.
here?
Looks like it's crucified. Oh, here they come. God damn. So I actually thought you were supposed to fight them, and I couldn't realize I couldn't really figure out how to escape, and obviously you're not supposed to fight them. You can't. That's the whole point. You're in a nightmare. They're onto you and you don't have a weapon, so... There we go. We died. 10 minutes into the game. Of course, we're in another dimension, so obviously we don't actually die. But I'm sure it hurt. There we go. This was pretty good CG back for 1999. Very impressive. And this is actually the image of Sybil that's on the back of the Metal Gear Solid 1 manual. It really intrigued me. I thought maybe she was like some government agent or something since I've been playing Resident Evil.
Was I dreaming?
How do you feel?
Oh, like I've been run over by a truck. But I'm alright, I guess.
Glad to hear it. You from around here? Why don't you tell me what happened?
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist. I came here for a vacation. I just got here. I don't know what happened. I'd like to find out myself. Have you seen a little girl? Just turned 7 last month, short, black hair. My daughter.
Sorry. The only person I've seen in this town is you.
Where is everybody?
I'd tell you if I knew, believe me. But from what I can tell, something bizarre's going on. That's all I know. What's your name?
Harry. Harry Mason.
Sybil Bennett. I'm a police officer from Brams, the next town over. The phones are all dead, and the radio too. I'm going back to call in some reinforcements. Hold it. Where do you think you're going?
My daughter. I've got to find her.
No way. It's dangerous out there.
In that case, I need to find her now. Cheryl's my little girl. I can't just leave her out there by herself.
Have you got a gun?
No.
Take this, and hope you don't have to use it. Now listen to me. Before you pull the trigger, know who you're shooting. And don't do it unless you have to. And don't go blasting me by mistake. Got it?
Yeah, thanks.
You do best to stay nearby. I'll be back with help as quick as I can.
Sybil's the GOAT. I wish we'd seen more of her in this series. I would have liked to have seen her in 3. So yeah, normally this would not happen in the real world. A police officer would not just give you a gun, but then again, the town's deserted. There's no one nearby, and it's snowing in the middle of summer, so obviously something's up. I don't think Sybil would give you a gun otherwise, unless she were absolutely sure it was necessary. So you notice there, like I said, the voice acting, it sounds kind of off, and a lot of people consider that to be one of the series' main appeals. Oh, the voice acting sounds off. That's why it gives it this unique feel, dreamlike, this David Lynchian vibe, and not really, because like I said, as far as the first game, it's not intentionally like that. There's literally they said it's like a 1 or half, I don't know if it was a 1 second or 1.5 second delay between the lines that for some reason happens on the disc. So the dialogue is supposed to actually sound much closer to each other than it is. It's literally a technical flaw that it sounds that way. So no, it was not deliberate on the part of Team Silent. Team Silent were brilliant in a lot of respects, but at the same time, I think too much of the fandom, at least the oldies, maybe not the new fans, but too much of the fandoms ascribe to them like this godlike vibe to them. Like they were these godlike designers that could do no wrong, and everything they did was flawless and perfect, and not really. Like they were a great development team, but There were different versions of them. There were at least two different versions of that team, and they did some things very right, and they did some things a bit wrong, and we'll get into that later on. This is a great game, but it is not a flawless game. And stuff like this was actually a technical mistake. You know, pinball machines, nothing unusual. You ever played a pinball machine? I'm sure I played one, maybe a long time ago, but the closest I ever had was a home pinball setup that was one of those very cheap mini pinball machines you get. I had that way back in the day, probably when I was like 10. I guess it's an interesting game, but I've never really been that into pinball. I know there's tons of pinball variations for everything. You have John Wick pinball, you have Pac-Man obviously, but then you have Resident Evil. It's probably a Silent Hill pinball machine somewhere. I think there's even a Phantasm pinball machine somewhere. I don't remember if it's... I know there's a Freddy Krueger one. So yeah, I guess very interesting game. They do variations of it for pretty much every series in existence. I'm sure there's a Metal Gear pinball too, but I'm not really that into it. You know, I like to play games for fun or money, and then obviously you don't win any money from pinball. And to me, it's not just fun blasting the ball up and down across that board. What does that say? Study, damn it. I remember they made fun of that on I don't know if it was either the Silent Hill 1 strategy guide or an old GeoCities site that used to record all the unique little references and notes and, you know, just playing interesting stuff around the town. And they kind of made fun of that, how it just says study, damn it. Someday someone may experience this bizarre events. Hopefully they will find my notes useful. So this could be read one of two ways. Either Harry's in a loop, which I really doubt it because they weren't even thinking about loop theory at the back at the time they designed this, or someone had prophetic visions of what was about to happen. Considering we know quite a few members of the church that's established here, the order, have psychic powers, I'm betting it's probably the latter. Someone probably had psychic visions that this was going to happen, and who knows what happened to that person. But judging by what they're saying, hopefully they will find my notes useful. I'm guessing that person died or was killed by the order in the town, which we'll find out later on. So this was my old save file Nowhere that I was working on. There's no date because the PS1 obviously doesn't record a date, and this is basically a PS1 emulator on the PS3. So I have no idea when I last played this, but yeah, you can see it's not an overly long game. I was already in the end section of the game, Nowhere, and I was only 4 hours, 7 minutes into it, so it's not a very long game at all. It's a very short game. But the funny thing is, I loaded up the save file just to check it out to see how that everything was running properly with Elgato and the PS3, because my PS3 sometimes sounds like it's on the middle of blasting off and exploding, or like it's on its last legs. It's the same with the Xbox 360. That's the reason why I never completed the original Alan Wake. I had to do the remaster because every time you turn it on, the Xbox 360 sounds like it's gonna blast off into space and just explode. So it's both of these consoles might be on their last legs. But the funny thing is, I loaded this save file to see if everything was alright, and I had absolutely no idea where to go, what to do, or what items to use. So I cannot finish that save file because I have no idea what I was doing the last time and I left off. And since this is an old school game, they don't give you any hints on what to do. So that save file is officially incomplete forever because I have no idea what I was doing when I stopped there, what I was in the middle of doing. Got the flashlight, the signature flashlight for the series. A big old bottle of health drink. And the map. Now that I have some money from the Super Bowl, and I also probably going to win quite a bit more tomorrow, or later this afternoon rather, once golf completes, I should probably check on the Konami store and see if the blanket is available again. They have this gorgeous throw blanket that is literally this map right here. This map that you're seeing here, that's literally the blanket. And I've wanted that for a long time, but it's $40. But But now might actually be the time to get it. Might as well treat myself to something cool. Instead of just using every single dollar I win for bills. Might as well buy something cool. I was gonna buy a game, but most of the interesting games are actually quite a bit distance away from release, so maybe I'll buy this instead if it's in stock, because I really like the look of that blanket. They did one for the Silent Hill 2 map also, but that map's not as cool. I don't really like it. Oh, I thought that was going to be the cutscene. He was just standing there. I figured that's when something was going to burst in. These old-fashioned ketchup and mustard bottles, dispensers, do they even have these in diners anymore or not? I have not been in a diner in a long time, easily over 10 years. Is it all just mustard and ketchup packets now? Like when you order from fast food or diners, like is it all just packets now? Funny thing is, there's a diner nearly like 10 minutes away, but it's always full. So I've never actually gone in there to eat. I've ordered a couple times from there. It's pretty good food, obviously, but it's pretty good. Somewhat limited selection and also very pricey. Like literally a hamburger is like $15, so it's very pricey, but it's okay. But I've never actually gone in there to eat. Also, one thing I want to point out before I forget, Harry's outfit is actually based off of Ash Williams' outfit in the original Evil Dead. Not Evil Dead 2. That's the one everybody always remembers, Evil Dead 2, because that was in the same way that people joke that Persona didn't exist before Persona 3. There was no Persona. It's the same way kind of with Evil Dead. Evil Dead did not exist before Evil Dead 2. That was the movie that got into the mainstream, but Evil Dead 1 was a somewhat decent movie, and I read that Harry's outfit is actually pretty much based on Bruce Campbell's outfit in that movie. So, nice bit of trivia and nice bit of nice little reference from the Silent Hill team towards that movie, which is pretty good. Like I said, it's a lot more serious than you'd expect. They didn't really get back to that level of seriousness until the Evil Dead remake quite a few years ago, and then Evil Dead Rise, which is an excellent movie, by the way. But for a while, it pretty much was just all horror comedy. But I recommend you check it out. I got the Blu-ray for it. It's like I said, it's pretty decent. It's no Evil Dead 2, that's for sure, but it's a hell of a lot better than most amateur sophomore efforts back in the day. Oh, I thought that was in the game. Looks like there was an ambulance outside. I was thinking, what the hell? Yeah, I thought that was in the game. I was wondering if my PS3 was about to explode or just die. Got a health drink. Got this useless ass knife. This kitchen knife is no good. Do not use this under any circumstances. It is shit. Like, you'd be better off physically fist fighting the monsters like Travis does in Origins. That knife does very little damage. In fact, it does practically no damage. So don't ever use it. Wait until you get the pipe. Just run, because that thing is shit. Radio, is it broken? Can't hear anything. So obviously I'm gonna try to extend the game a bit just by delving into the lore and all my memories of it, because one, that's part of the fun of doing this playthrough, and two, like, obviously I can't have the game just be 3 videos and 1 hour and a half long each. Shortest playthrough ever. Here we go. The famous radio.
What's that? Huh. Radio. What's going on with that radio?
Harry's signature line is, "Have you seen a little girl? 7 short black hair." Every character has one. Harry has that one. That's the run button. Harry has that one, and Henry has what the hell? What would James's signature line be? "I'm looking for Mary. Have you seen her?" Like, would that be her his signature line? Something about Mary? Or would it be Mary, could you really be in this town? Okay, we got 15 bullets. God damn it! Back off. Is he dead?
This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
I did not even know that was supposed to be a flying dinosaur when I first saw it many years ago. I thought it was like some type of bird. Looks all purple. Yeah, people thought, oh, that's... I'm sure some people thought, oh, that must be a reference to Jurassic Park, having a dinosaur attack you. What is going on outside? I'm hearing the fire truck now, or another ambulance. What is going on outside? There's a pocket radio. Take it. Yeah, so that's actually a reference to The Lost World, which is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's famous story. Because as we'll see later on, a very important character in this game and in this series actually had quite a fondness for that particular story. So it's not Jurassic Park. It's based off The Lost World. So we gotta go scrounge up for some supplies first, because we're gonna need them. And like I said, you don't really want to fight. Where could Cheryl have gone? You don't really want to fight the monsters until you have like both the pipe and a significant amount of ammo. I guess I'll check that alley again. This was a pretty good map back in the day, because compared to this, the Resident Evil maps are pretty useless. They're all weird and they don't show you any of the terrain. It's just all blacks and green lighting, red lighting, stuff like that. So like this map was a godsend compared to that. I actually like what they also did in the Metal Gear Solid remake map on the GameCube. They did like you never got a map originally in MGS1, but then when they also did the remake, and whenever you hit the pause menu, you could actually see the layout of Shadow Moses Island, and you could see all the different buildings and rooms and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. That was unique. Man, what happened? Konami used to put out such great games, and then for like 10 to 15 years they just disappeared and became the pachinko company. Nothing but pachinko machines, gambling in Japan. And then when the Japanese cracked down on pachinko machines, that's when they were forced to turn back to video games. And I'll admit, they gave us a great Silent Hill 2 remake. That was pretty much as... It wasn't perfect, because technically a perfect Silent Hill 2 remake would have been a one-for-one remake, like Resident Evil on the GameCube was. But it was good enough. Like, it was as close to perfect as you can get while still having some unique personality to it. Look at that Queen Burger. Which one is your favorite? Queen Burger, Happy Burger, or Konami Burger, which we'll see much later on in the Central District. Too bad we can't actually go inside the Queen Burger. That's something they'll have to fix in a remake. Bachman Road, named after Richard Bachman, Stephen King's pen name, for when he wanted to branch out and prove that he could write without the Stephen King name. Because I think it was a critic that told him that, oh, it's just everything sells because it's Stephen King. Like, you couldn't really hack it anymore without your name, and he wrote that to prove them wrong. And he actually wrote some pretty good books until he got unmasked. Somebody figured out who he was, and I think it was actually a bookshop owner who figured out who he was. And there went the disguise. Back off. That says Bill skins fifth. That's actually a reference to Silence of the Lambs, and how Bill is on his fifth victim there. So I hate to break it to you, but this game looks horrible in a stretched out mode and widescreen mode. I'm playing like this for the playthrough, so you can see it clearly on YouTube. But when you're playing on your own on the PS3, do not play in widescreen mode. Keep it in normal mode, 4:3, or is it 4:3 to 1? I don't remember which, but keep it in normal mode. Do not switch over to this because this looks horrible stretched out. That's why it's in desperate need of a remaster. People are saying they're hoping Night Dive does it. They did the Thing remaster and a couple other games too. Because also apparently Night Dive does not do gameplay fixes and stuff like that. They mainly do graphical remasters, but they do it for really old games that need them. So yeah, I can see them. I can see them doing a decent job, I suppose. I'd buy it for sure. Because who knows when Konami will get around to it. Like, they're all busy doing the new Silent Hill games and also the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, so who knows when they'll get around to that. So yeah, if Night Dive asked them to remaster and Konami says, yes, sure, go for it, I'd buy it. As long as it's not $40, I'd buy it. Maybe they can fix a couple of the other minor stuff here. Like I said, they don't do complete overhauls of games, but maybe they can fix one or two issues here and there. Like Harry being a bit rough to control. He's in desperate need of better controls. I'm trying to find the convenience store so you can go in. Here it is. That is not the convenience store. I don't know what that is. Where's the store? You gotta get the ammo there. Oh, there it is. This is obviously a rip-off of 7-Eleven, except it's 8. 8 o'clock, I suppose. Oh, look at that. He's just chilling. We're not gonna shoot him, right? He was just sitting there in his trash can, just thinking about life, contemplating things. Why would we shoot him? He wasn't bothering us. I do like it when the monsters have their own personality to them, and it's not just, oh, they're all after the protagonist. Like, it's nice to see them just chilling around and doing stuff on their own. Like the mannequins in Silent Hill 2 Remake, when they're just hiding in their closets and little nooks and crannies. I'll kill most of them, but there's some that I actually don't kill. I just let them be. Because if the mannequin is sitting like 20 feet away from you and he's not bothering you, he hasn't noticed you, like, why would you even shoot him? Like, just let him be. Just let them be. Same thing for some of the zombies or hunters in Resident Evil games. I don't shoot them either because unless they come after me, that's one thing. But if they're just sitting very far away from me and I don't need to go through there, what's the point? You just let them be. They're not bothering you or anyone else. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of health drinks. I thought there was going to be more ammo in here, but I forgot that's actually Silent Hill Origins. I'm getting my convenience stores mixed up. This one mainly gives us health, I guess, because we got a lot of health. What we need is ammo. So yeah, I got my convenience stores mixed up. Oh yeah, we got 1 first aid kit, we got 6 health drinks. Hard to use, but better than nothing. Yeah, this is completely nothing. You cannot use this. It is shit. This was also the first time they did the health in this little section here, where you can see because Resident Evil had like the heart monitor, right? And when it's green, it's fine. Yellow's caution. Orange is in very caution, and then red is in danger. And then as the series went along, they basically eliminated the orange one. They got rid of that. I think that was very cautious on the original one. They got rid of that, and instead they put you just went from yellow to red. And of course, in the modern remakes, especially RE2 remake, if you get hit on hard, you go from fine to danger. You don't even get to see the yellow mode. They'll just fuck you up immediately. But I actually like this because it's a pretty cool effect. But the green light behind his head right there, and that rendering looked pretty cool back in the day for sure. The one thing is, like Resident Evil, you do have to go back and check it constantly. So that's the one thing. Harry does not show any signs of injury because obviously this was a very primitive console, the PS1. So you don't really have them limping or anything. Like even Resident Evil did limping back in 2 and 3, but Harry doesn't really have that here. So you have to go back and check to make sure you're not actually dying. I think the heart vibration does show up when you're in danger, but you probably don't want to let it get to that point. I don't know if they kept the vibration on for this port or not. Yeah, we're just gonna leave him be. Hopefully he doesn't pursue us. Because that's the other difference between these monsters. Yeah, look at that. They can follow you for miles. They're not like the mannequins or the straight jackets from Silent Hill 2. These bastards will follow you for miles and miles. They do not give up. So we gotta get back to that alleyway. And we are completely going the wrong way. Shit. Make a U-turn, Harry. You can see the draw distance is pretty bad, but that was why they added the fog in the first place. And who would have known that the fog would become such an iconic part of gaming? Not even survival horror gaming, just gaming in general. Everybody knows the Silent Hill fog. Even if you're not a fan of horror games or the series itself, everybody knows the fog. Like, it's funny, Stephen King pretty much introduced the concept back in The Mist with that story he wrote back in the 80s, which was adapted into a pretty magnificent screenplay and movie, by the way. Like, I've only seen one person or one group of people review the movie and not like it, and I don't know what the hell was wrong with them, because they generally give pretty decent reviews for movies. It's a married couple on YouTube. I'm not gonna say their names, but let's just say the guy looks very rough, and the woman has a short, tomboyish hairstyle. I'm normally a fan of their videos because they do pretty decent in-depth reviews and reaction videos, but for some reason something misfired with The Mist, and they didn't really appreciate what it was about and all the themes underlying the movie. So that was a disappointment. To check out their reaction and realize they hated it, or at least the man hated it. I'm not so sure his wife did, but he hated it. He hated that movie, The Mist, even though it's a pretty magnificent movie. But yeah, Stephen King introduced the whole concept of a lost, foggy town where supernatural stuff is going on in there with The Mist, and yet the one thing people remember most is actually Silent Hill. Everybody refers to it as the Silent Hill fog. Even on what used to be Twitter, you know, the bloated, rotting corpse of Twitter, the few people that are left there still refer to it. Oh, they post images and videos, say, oh, I'm in Silent Hill today, whenever it's foggy outside in the morning. And like I said, it's pretty weird that people remember Silent Hill and not Stephen King's The Mist. I guess horror fans remember The Mist, but a lot of people don't. They all just know it as the Silent Hill fog. So let's go further into this alleyway. Obviously it's not as nightmarish now. It's gone back to normal, or what counts as normal in this game. So I'm actually playing this during movie night on Discord, but they're watching Sonic 3. I was hoping they watch Companion, which is the second movie, first, but they chose Sonic 3, and I'm sure it's pretty good, but the thing is I have not watched Sonic 1 or Sonic 2, so I'm just skipping that for now. I'll go back to it eventually. But I really didn't feel like it would be appropriate to watch the third one without watching the first and second, because even though I know, obviously we all know about Sonic and what his story is and who the characters are, but I haven't seen the actual films themselves, so I think I need that in order to fully appreciate the sequel. Especially since this is almost a conclusion to the Sonic trilogy pretty much itself. I know they said they're going to make one more movie, Sonic 4, but from what I understand, this is a pretty good trilogy, so I didn't really feel comfortable watching it.
Isn't the Cheryl sketchbook? She's at the school.
Yeah, I didn't really feel comfortable watching it without watching that that first and second movie. Sketchbook cover. This picture, it's me. The funny thing is, and later on in Silent Hill 3, you will get someone remark, that is awful. Awful artwork. Yeah, that looks nothing like Harry, unless Harry has a stretchable googly eyes, and is bald. That looks nothing like him. The first picture that Cheryl drew in the sketchbook that I gave her on her 5th birthday. There's a steel pipe. Take it. Yes, we got the pipe. The pipe is not my favorite weapon in almost any of the games. The only game that I really like it is the remake of 2. Otherwise, I do not like the pipe. They're always superior weapons. My favorite weapon in this game is the emergency hammer, which we'll get later on. That's what I really like. So I don't think you can save the memos here, or stuff you find lying on the ground. So that's one issue with this, that you constantly have to refer to back to possibly your own notes, because I don't think you can. Yeah, you only have a memo section. You only have a map section here, not a memo section. So you pretty much have to refer back to the memos nearby. That's a huge drawback of this game, which obviously they would fix in a remake. Okay, so we gotta head off to the school. I wonder if we can find the basketball court with a dog's head sitting around here somewhere. I wonder where it is. Yep. Ooh, damn, he got me. Yeah, that's also why I was somewhat unimpressed with this game the first time I played it, because damn it. Because compared to the dogs in Resident Evil, these do not look good at all. Like, I didn't even know they were supposed to be skinless. I just thought they were regular savage dogs. They are skinless dogs, and they move so stiff and jerky. But that's part of the charm, actually. Because, like I said, what they lack in graphical power and gameplay refinement with this, they actually more than make up for with story, atmosphere, and nightmarish, hellish settings. It's one of those games where the strengths far outnumber the drawbacks. Or maybe they far outweigh the drawbacks. Yeah, I want to find the basketball court with dog's head. Where is it? Maybe it's something we come across later. Also wonder if we can get the if we can find the infamous dog house where Harry says it's a dog house, so there must be a dog nearby. I don't see one though, and then there's a dog right next to him standing to attack. There it is, right there. God damn it. See if we can get it without getting without getting killed. There we go. Probably a dog house, though I'm not sure since there's no dog around. Harry's blind as hell. Nothing in particular around. Yeah, there's a dog right there. Harry, what are you doing? Okay, we gotta come back to that later. What the hell is going on outside? Sounds like there's a fire of some sort. Oh man, we're playing this game and we're talking about a fire. There was a huge fire in this game, and we'll find out later on it's part of the reason why this town is so messed up. Because of that huge fire. I'm hoping another plane didn't fall. Because ever since they started pretty much firing everyone who actually keeps the country running, not to get political, but things are going to shit in a handbasket. Doghouse, 11th Street. Let's see, does he save the memos? Oh yeah, he does save the actual physical memos. So you don't have the section like you do in Silent Hill 2, 3, 4, etc. But you do have the actual physical memos located on there. I like that how Harry slaps the wall when he runs into it. It shows some realism. As opposed to just like the Resident Evil characters who they'll just hit the wall and there's no reaction. God damn. But we don't have the ammo to fight back against those guys yet, so there's no... Gotta just outrun them. And the way you outrun the flying dinosaurs is basically by going in a zigzag pattern. Okay, so we gotta get to the school, but so where's the path? Because Finney Street is closed, Matheson Street is closed, and Block Street is closed, so where the hell do we go? Where the hell do we go? We need a key, but from where? Doghouse and Lebanon are written in Cheryl's handwriting. Alright, so let's go to 11th Street then. 11th Street. Where is 11th Street? I might have a slight problem in that I cannot see 11th Street since the text is so tiny. Where is 11th Street? Oh yeah, never mind. I see it. It's right in front of my face. But I mean, where's the... Because that's not where the doghouse is, right? You have 11th Street, so I assume the key is at 11th Street. Where's the doghouse? Yeah, where's the key? Oh, I guess maybe it's in the doghouse, I guess. Look, it's been like 5 years since I played this game. I'm not gonna remember every single thing like I once did. I once knew this game inside and out. Like, I played it so many times, I knew every single part of it. I never got lost, knew exactly where to go, and that's no longer the case. It's just like Soul Reaver 1, where I played the remaster and it had been so long since I played the game that I just completely forgot where, I just completely forgot how to do some of the puzzles. Like, where does this block go, and how many block puzzles are in the game, and I completely forgot all that stuff. So, okay, so we checked out 11th Street, but I don't see the doghouse, so is it on this side? Oh, and apparently, this is something that a lot of people have said should be fixed in a sequel, not a sequel, in a remake, because I hadn't noticed it, but these roads are massive. They are massive, massive highways for such a small town, and apparently that's because the Japanese developers didn't really know the exact width of American streets, and so even though they got the look of the houses right, they did not get the streets right. So the streets are massive in here. So yeah, that's definitely something they have to fix for sure, because you cannot have streets that are 25 feet wide. That's not realistic. Nice dodge, Harry. He dodged down. He bent down to pick up the key. Excuse me for a moment there, my voice kind of started to go. He bent down to pick up the key and actually dodged an attack, so let's get that key. Let's get in there before he gets us. Takes a chunk out of Harry. I'm gonna have to check the internet or something, because something's going on outside, but I don't know what. It's locked. This is actually where you get the katana in New Game Plus, which is my second favorite weapon. The emergency hammer is my favorite, but the katana is easily the second favorite. It's the best weapon in the game. It'll kill anything in like 3 hits or 2 hits, and it slides Harry forward. So if he's standing here, when he swipes it with the katana, he'll literally slide forward several feet over here. Very useful weapon, and it catches almost every enemy off guard. And you can use it for everything. Dogs, nurses, doctors, pretty much every enemy in the game is vulnerable to that. So very, very fine weapon, and definitely my second favorite after the emergency hammer. But the emergency hammer just has some oomph to it that makes it really fun to play with. It's one of those weapons that I kept hoping they would ever bring back in a sequel game, and they did not. They never brought it back. Hopefully they'll do a Silent Hill 1 remake and we can see that glorious emergency hammer once again, because that thing rocks. It is easily my favorite weapon in the entire series. Not just the game, in the entire series. The emergency hammer. followed then by the katana, and obviously the shotgun is a classic. One thing I did like a lot about this game, this house is actually pretty big. One thing I did like a lot about this game compared to Resident Evil was how the town feels like an actual city or town. It doesn't feel like a bunch of puzzles just strung up together randomly, because that's what Raccoon City feels like at times. It doesn't really feel like a real city. I know part of it is because everything is barricaded and is blocked off in Resident Evil 3, but like some of the stupid stuff, like the mayor's puzzle with the statue and the car battery, and there being no bathrooms in the game at all, and some of that stuff, and like how cramped some of the streets are. There's back alleys everywhere that are actually locked by dungeon-like doors. It just it feels like a constructed city purely for a game. It does not feel really realistic and lifelike. And it's actually one of the improvements they made in Resident Evil 2 Remake. And what little we saw of the remake of the city in the remake of 3. Even though RE3 Remake kind of sucks, but they did get some of the details right. The city felt alive, and this actually feels like a town that people would live in, and not just a bunch of random rooms strung up together for a video game, which is definitely not the case with the PS1 versions of the Resident Evil games. They do not feel like real cities at all. Alright, we copied that down onto our map. Keys for Eclipse. So I gotta go to Elroy Street. So I guess we have to... Ah, damn. I thought it was just one key. I was gonna say, I guess we have to go back and get that one key, but no, it's 3 keys. We gotta summon the night using those 3 keys, so let's just run for it. We gotta go all the way to Elroy Street. Okay, so I think it's 3. I think it's the path next to Queenburger, Elroy Street, and then is it that arrow over there next to the convenience store? I guess that's it. So yeah, look at that. These streets are massive. Holy shit, these are some massive streets that you could fit a 6-lane highway in there. No wonder people find it odd. But yeah, it was just Japanese developers not really knowing what American streets look like. Although I can't imagine they look anything like Japanese streets either, because I've seen Japanese streets on videos. They look nothing like this. So these don't resemble any streets in Japan or America. They're just completely invented, fabricated. Okay, let's get the closest one first. That would be Elroy Street. So we gotta make a left. Obviously the streets are all named after authors. Like I said, I already show you Bachman, Stephen King's pseudonym. You have Matheson, which is one of the best writers of Twilight Zone, Richard Matheson. I still gotta get some of his stories in the collection. You have Midwich, which is that's not an author. It's actually named after the Midwich Cuckoos, I believe, was one of the famous stories. I know Jack Finney is an author. Robert Bloch obviously wrote Psycho. I didn't really know who he was when I first played this, but he's the author of Psycho. And then Bradbury Street. We all know who Bradbury is. Vigo. He only contributed one script to Twilight Zone, and the experience kind of soured him on it. He never worked again with Rod Serling, but he was still a pretty damn fine science fiction author outside of that. Like, if you only know him from that one Twilight episode, you wouldn't know how great he is. Probably one of the best American authors of all time. I've got the series he made, the Ray Bradbury Theater. I gotta sit down and watch that sometime. I bought it in Sears before that store went out of business and I lost my job. I bought it there for like $2 or $3. It has all the episodes on DVD. I'm sure they're in shit quality, but it's the thought that counts, because it's not available anywhere else except on YouTube channels. But there's some really interesting episodes there from his anthology series. So I gotta check that out one day. Fresh roasted coffee. Alright, where's that first key? Elroy Street, there we go. Because I think I'm gonna stop as soon as we reach the school. Because that's a huge, huge section and I don't really want to rush exploring it. So I think we're gonna stop there once we reach the school. Dudes, it is all out war outside. Apparently, we got fire trucks, we got ambulances, we got motorcycles speeding. Apparently the apocalypse is happening outside. So mailboxes. That's another detail I appreciated about this game. There were actual mailboxes compared to Raccoon City. Like I said, Raccoon City just does not look like a real city. It looks like a bunch of puzzle rooms strung together randomly almost, just for the sake of being a video game. So that's one thing I appreciate about this. It actually looks like a realistic town that people would live in, not just some weird random assortment of rooms. It took me forever to find these keys originally when I first played this. God damn, especially this one with that rickety little bridge there. It's just like one wooden plank. God damn. That's annoying. The fact that these guys will pursue you, hit you in the head, and then just run off. That pisses off a lot of people. It annoyed the hell out of me when I first played this. Yeah, it took me forever to find these keys. I don't know why. I guess because I didn't see that rickety bridge, so I could never find that one until I looked it up online in the internet. That was back in the days when you looked up stuff online in the library and printed it out or brought it home with you. That was how you looked up stuff, unless you had the strategy guides. This actually was one of the very first strategy guides I bought. This one. This jackass. You wanna rumble? Okay, we gotta stop using that gun because we only got. Oh no, we picked up some more bullets. Never mind. There, we got 51. Oh hell yes, we can actually use it. But we're gonna stick with the pipe. Who's coming? We can just ignore the dogs. They're not that much of a threat. The stupid dinos are the ones that you really want to take out. Motherfucker. God, this son of a bitch. Just hit and run, man. It's just literally hit and run bastards. Oh damn, we got run wide. God damn. Harry, get that fucking Jesus Christ. Harry, get that damn key and get the fuck out of here. We got two. Is it worth it or should we just... Nah, you know what? Let's just try to dodge it, and maybe if things get bad before we reach the school, because there should be either a health drink or a med pack in the school bus outside. So if things get bad, we just use that one. Because we're not even to the school yet, and we're gonna be dealing with knives there. The kids all have knives in that school, so we don't want to waste too much health on these fools. Gotta get in that alleyway. I think that's the alley with the dog head and the basketball court. Food and liquor store. Harry could use some liquor right now. Where is it? The angle will give away where it is. Where? There it is. Right here. Off limits. We made it. There it is. There's the There's the dog head with the basketball court right there. And the key. There's a key of Woodman, take it. A dog's head. So they were playing basketball with a dog's head. Wanna play basket dog? That's definitely one of those things that would be a flashback of the past. If they do a remake and they follow that same style, this would definitely be a flashback of the past. And then people would trick themselves into believing that Harry's stuck in a time loop, like James supposedly is, even though it's not true. But that's what people trick themselves into believing. Also wonder if there will be a trophy for finding it, like the bread in Silent Hill 2 Remake. Okay, so we got the dog's head. I think we got all of them, right? We got this one, and we got the key. Do we have all of them? There we go, 3 keys. I also liked how you could see details like this if you examine things closely. Because in Resident Evil, obviously you can examine them, but all you can do is just really rotate them on the screen. And then for Resident Evil 2, I think they took even that feature out, didn't they? Or can you still examine the items and rotate them? Because I don't think 2 has any of the puzzles similar to the 1 did, where it had the music boxes and stuff like that. Like, I think 2's puzzles are much more simpler, just finding keys and plugs for the sewers and stuff like that. So I don't even think you could rotate the items in 3, right? When you examine them in RE3, I don't think you could even rotate them by that point. They were just static images. It's been a while since I played that game, so I'd have to go back and check, but I don't think you could actually rotate them, right? I like the fact that you can examine these closely, and also in Silent Hill 3, Heather will note little details here and there. She'll notice stuff when you examine them closely. Let's limp our way back to the house on 11th Street. Trying to get there without using that other health drink, because there's one outside. I think there's one outside. It's right outside the house. How far away are we? It does take a bit to load. There it is. We're not that far at all. Oh, here they come. He missed. He missed. Yeah, I think the school is a good stopping point, because that's a huge section, so I don't want to try to rush exploring that section. I want to take my time with it. I also got to go online to eBay and pre-order that, order that damn component cable for the PS2, because otherwise Silent Hill 2 is Silent Hill 3 is out of commission for now, until I order that. Matheson Street. He was always my favorite of the Twilight Zone writers. Richard Matheson. He wrote some pretty creative, pretty juicy stories. He wrote Little Girl Lost, where the girl falls into like a portal and into like the 5th dimension. He wrote Living Doll, the famous Telly Savalas episode that pretty much inspired Child's Play with Chucky the Doll. He wrote that one. He wrote a lot of them. He wrote The Shrinking Man, which then became the movie The Incredible Shrinking Man. I saw that movie. It was alright. It's pretty decent, but they did make some changes for the book. And also it ended on a somewhat philosophical note, which was kind of weird the way it ended. What? It's getting dark again? What's going on? Got our flashlight out. Yeah, I just turned to night, Harry. We're in nighttime now. That was a cool detail, I think, that they did in the Silent Hill 2 remake, where usually in the original it was just nighttime once you got out of Brookhaven and went back out onto the streets. But in the remake they actually made it nighttime and the other world, which is a pretty cool combination. So I thought that was a pretty decent thing they did. Spice it up a bit, make it a bit different, so that it keeps you on your toes. You're not expecting, you're just expecting regular nighttime Silent Hill. You're not prepared for the other world and nighttime Silent Hill, because it actually looked a lot more like the other world in this game near the end, which is probably the scariest other world we've seen so far, or one of the scariest. Should we use that health drink now? We got 9. You know what, let's see how far we make it. If we run into trouble, maybe we'll try to use it. And we can't really make any turns or anything. We just gotta head straight for it. It should be to our right over here. I'm sure there's our ammo and stuff like that. I'm not gonna bother getting it. God damn! I don't know what they have against his head. Is it his hair? They don't like his haircut? Why are they constantly aiming for his head? I guess they don't like that Bruce Campbell haircut Harry has in this one. Okay, we just gotta make it over here. Okay, so we're facing Midwich. We gotta turn left on Midwich. There should be a school bus with some ammo or health there, one or the other. Either way we can get in there. Too bad we can't steal one of those cars and drive. That was a rumor for the longest time. This insane rumor way back in the GLC these days, that you could find some way to save a certain character later on. I won't mention who it is right now, but find a way to save a certain character, and apparently you were supposed to steal an ambulance somehow and drive with it somewhere and then pick up that character, in addition to getting like distilled water to making a bomb and all this stuff. It was just this really weird rumor that somebody started based on nothing, and people kept trying to find that secret ending over and over. It was insane, the stuff people believed back then about gaming, about video games. Remember everybody trying to find the Tomb Raider 1 nude code, which did not exist. There was no nude code, but people kept trying to search for it and find. Harry, get in that damn bus. There we go. We got 2 health drinks. Nice. Replenish the one we just wasted. What else does you have in here? Does he have any ammo? Oh hell yeah! Here we go. Oh, it's a save. It's a save spot. Okay. Saved on the bus. We're 58 minutes in. Is there any ammo here? Nope. Okay, so it's just purely health. Ammo. I'm confusing it with the bus in Resident Evil 2 remake that has ammo in it. And the one in the original RE2, I suppose. That one has ammo too. Harry, get into that damn school. Get away from these freaking dogs. I generally like dogs, but if the dogs a certain someone from this game dealt with were like this, I can understand why they would hate dogs and spawn them into being like this. These skinless freak dogs that just attack everything in sight. I can understand why somebody would be intimidated enough to form these creatures here, if the dogs they were encountering were as vicious as these are. Alright, let's pick up the map. That's nice of the school to provide an actual map. There's a school map, take it. I always like this map too, it's really colorful. It looks like something you would find in an elementary school. And like I said, I appreciate the fact that there's actual bathrooms here, because there's no bathrooms at all in Raccoon City, so you wonder what the hell the people in the police station do, because there are no bathrooms whatsoever. Cheryl might be here. I should search for her. Okay, that's where we came from. Get confused looking at the doors. So we gotta find a safe spot. Moore, Ronaldo, Gordon. This might be the list of teachers. Kay Gordon actually has a somewhat important role in the lore, but we'll get into that later. Oh, look at this painting. A picture of a door. I don't know who drew it, but it's certainly in bad taste. Yeah, it looks like something out of a Clive Barker novel, doesn't it? Boy, I don't know if he's ever played it or not, but if he had, Clive Barker must love Silent Hill. I'm sure he loved that stuff. I don't know if he's ever actually played it or not. I don't know if he's any type of gamer, but he would love the hell out of this aesthetic and the series in general. Has everything he likes about horror. That should be something we Google sometimes. Has Clive Barker played video games, and has he played Silent Hill? Because he would love this series. It's written in blood. 12 o'clock. A place for songs and sound. A silver guidepost is untapped and lost tongues awakening at the ordained order. What does that mean? It's written in blood. 10 o'clock. Alchemy laboratory. Gold in an old man's palm. The future hidden in his fist in exchange for sage's water. Okay, so that's the puzzles. One's the clock tower. Another's the old man's palm. The fish statue we find eventually. 5 o'clock. Darkness that brings the choking heat. Flames render the silence, awakening the hungry beast. Open time's door to beck and pray. Okay, that's how we open up the door to the boss. Okay. There should be a safe spot somewhere around here. I think the infirmary might be it. Let's go over here and check. I know there's one around here. I don't remember where. We're just gonna have to keep searching. Oh, there it is. We don't have to keep searching. It's right there. Got a first aid kit. Got a health drink. It's already open, so we don't have to smash it like James in the remake. Just smashing all the stuff made of glass across the town. Can you imagine if what he does bleeds over into the regular town, and then the people of Silent Hill just wake up one day to find that every window and every car window in the town has been smashed to pieces by some mysterious miscreant or troublemaker. And they don't know who or what it is. They just know that when they went to bed, everything was fine. When they woke up the next day, every single window in the town was smashed, and nobody knows who did it or how they did it, since he covered literally the whole town. How did one person manage to smash every single store window, door, and car window in the entire town without anyone noticing it? How the hell did that ever happen? That would be funny. Alright, so we're in the infirmary. We're an hour, 2 minutes, 14 seconds in. Okay, so this is a pretty good stopping point here. It's actually bright enough that you can see Harry in the shadow. Look at that. If we left it the way it was, you probably wouldn't be able to see him at all. So I'm glad we turned up the brightness. Like I said, this is a pretty big section coming up, so I want to devote a full video to it. So it's good that we stopped here, because it's a pretty big section. It's not my favorite. My favorite is by far Alchemilla Hospital, because that's where we meet most of the important protagonist characters in the game. But this one is definitely one of the more beloved settings in the whole Silent Hill series. So far, it's like I said, it's just like I remembered. I'm glad we finally got this game up and running. I figured out how to connect the PS3 to my setup and then connect it to Elgato and be able to use a signal splitter to get around their, what is it, DHCP protection or something like that? I think it's DHCP, right? Or is it AHCP? I have no idea, but whatever that thing is that blocks Elgato from normally recording, we were able to get around it. Unfortunately, I kind of had to sacrifice my PS2 component cable to do it. So I'm going to have to order one of those. But I guess I'm glad that I found that out now. then I can order one, because if it fell apart literally by falling like 6 inches, that cable was obviously on its last legs. If it fell apart that easily just from hitting literally like the bottom of a table 6 inches down, so I guess that cable was just ready to fall apart. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and order one of those off of eBay, because they no longer sell that, and there's no used game stores around here anymore. There's like one GameStop left. Another GameStop actually closed down. I was there recently to see Captain America Brave New World, and what do you know, GameStop closed in that mall, in the Chamonix Mall, along with like 5 other stores and nearly all of the food courts. So that mall is, talk about being on its last legs. That mall is on its last legs. It is dying. It's being held up purely by Boss Cup's department store and AMC feeders, because there's nothing else there besides that. And I guess Barnes and Noble. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go procure a cable for the PS2, because I want to be able to keep playing Silent Hill 3, and that's also obviously the way we're gonna play Silent Hill Origins when that game comes around, when it's that game's turn. So I need that component cable, because right now I only have the audio video cable, and I don't like how it looks using the audio video cable. So I'm gonna have to order a new component cable, and hopefully cheap. But yeah, the game is pretty much as I remember it. Like I said, I recommend, if you're playing this on your own, do not play it stretched out like it is right here on the PS3 screen. Instead, just play it normal. Play it on normal setting. Trust me, it looks a lot better than this. This is just because it's stretched out. It doesn't look that bad on the recording, but on an HD TV like I'm playing it right now, this thing looks horrible, because it's not supposed to be stretched out like that. So when you play it on your own, play it on normal mode. That's my strong recommendation. Other than that, yeah, we haven't really gotten to the good parts yet, but once you get to Al Camilo Hospital, that's when you're really going to see why people really love Silent Hill, and in particular Silent Hill 1. That's when we get to the good meaty stuff, and it basically starts here in the school later on. We'll get a hint of it later on in the school, but Al Camilo is pretty much like the main set piece for the game, in my opinion. That's definitely what cemented Silent Hill as a horror classic. But yeah, we're gonna play this for the next few days alongside the new games we're playing, and like I said, hopefully that cable, once I order it, arrives soon and we can get back to Silent Hill 3, because I really wanted to play that. And like I said, I did not expect that cable to literally fall apart in my hands after hitting a 6-inch drop. I can understand it breaking after 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet. I have never seen a cable actually break apart after falling 6 inches. That is a new one for me. So I've never seen that in all these years of working with cables and computers and consoles. That is truly a first. So unfortunately, the PS2 is screwed for now. So we gotta focus on this one and the newer games we're playing. Also gonna finish up my Silent Hill 2 remake playthrough, not for YouTube, but I'm doing one on my own using the green filter, which is actually a pretty decent filter. I actually recommend it. Out of all the filters in that game, I actually recommend you play that one on your own, because it's pretty fun, and it gives a whole town a very unique, very eerie feeling to it. So it gives it a unique vibe that I don't think even the regular filter for Silent Hill 2 Remake has. But yeah, that's it for now. We're going to keep playing this over the next few days. So thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying this playthrough. If this is your first time watching Silent Hill, like I said, I recommend playing this game on your own for the first time, obviously, so you can fully experience it. But if you already played through this game, then like I said, I'm really eager to get further into the lore and background behind this game, and some of the story's characters, and my own memories as I played through it originally when I was a kid. So like I said, thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. See you later, everyone.